Dear all, thank you for attending today's webinar on guidelines on how to describe and represent wheat data. My name is Katrin Beck. I'm from the RDA Europe training program team. Now let me present you our two speakers. Esther is a project manager and a facilitator of a research data skills center in the Department of Scientific Information of INRA, the French National Institute for Agricultural Research. She is also the co-chair of the RDA Wheat Data Interoperability Working Group. Her fields of expertise include data management and semantic web. Richard works for the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center, CIMMYT, as head of knowledge management. He provides advice to identify, develop, and implement effective knowledge management practices and systems across the organization. He is also co-chair of the RDA Wheat Data Interoperability Working Group, together with Esther Dzale Yeumo. Richard, would you like to start?
Hello to everyone. This is Richard speaking. I hope that you can hear me and I hope that you can see me now. I would like to welcome all of you. Thank you very much for being part of this webinar today. Since I am based in Mexico, for me it's early in the day, and I guess that many of you are also in Europe, so it's a bit later. Thanks for joining. I think the initial idea of this is really to give you an overview of what we have been doing in the Wheat Data Interoperability Working Group of the Research Data Alliance. And Esther has been leading this, and I've been supporting Esther also in implementing the activities here. So what we would like to show is that the Wheat Initiative was created, the ideas came up in 2011 following an endorsement of the G20 agriculture ministries to improve food security. This is supposed to be happening by really encouraging people who are working in the wheat area, in the wheat sector, to collaborate more effectively and to also find ways to interact more effectively via different exchange formats. So the idea is to create a framework to identify synergies and collaborations for wheat improvement at an international level. For us also, in this context, it is important to see that we are inclusive and that we are really including everyone who wants to be part of this process. So we have a lot of important countries also that are supporting this. We have international organizations, as the one that I am representing here, as well as very important companies and research institutes like INRA, for example. So this is the kind of general scene. The interoperability idea is one of the main concepts that we are following here. How would we like to do that? We would like to create a framework that is really enabling exchange. We would like to look into metadata. How is metadata managed in the different organizations? Which are the formats that are most used? And also, how can we look into different vocabularies that are of relevance? We would also like to, and we have started providing guidelines for the description and representation of linked wheat data. So there is also a lot of information available on the website and the platform where you can get all the information that we have produced so far. It will also be nice of you if you can see the questions that have been blended in, so that you can also give us some information about your background, in which area are you working in, and which of the data types you think are the most relevant. So it would be very nice if you could please answer these questions that are appearing there. We're looking into different data types, of course. These are all covered in the guidelines. We're looking, of course, into different study types, and we're also looking into the various data types that are relevant for wheat information. This is especially also in the context of my personal expertise. It is very important to look into the different standards that are used in an organization like CIMMYT, where we are really focusing mainly on wheat and maize improvement, but in this context on wheat improvement, so that we are also looking into how can we set up systems and use these standards that we're looking at and the different study types into repositories that make sense and that can allow us also to participate in sharing information in an appropriate manner. So I think this is something also we're going to look into in more detail a bit later on. So what did we do from a methodology point of view? We have worked with surveys where we first collected kind of understanding what is the community using, what are the standards that are out there, and we also wanted to get a glimpse and an understanding of what are the wheat-related ontologies and vocabularies, controlled vocabularies that we are using out there so that we can also kind of narrow in on those. We have organized several workshops that have come up with recommendations from the people who have been active in this group, which hopefully also represent an important part of the wheat community, wheat scientific community. We've done mappings between different data formats. We have also looked into actions that can be conducted to improve the level of wheat data interoperability. For example, in the case of CIMMYT, we have done that by also being harvestable by other systems. So I think there's a lot we can do to improve that are really low-hanging fruits. So I think this is very encouraging. And then, of course, we also have described different interoperability use cases that could be of interest for the broader wheat community. Now, from an implementation level and what was expected from this Research Data Alliance working group was really to get outputs that could be useful for the community. So here we have created an interactive cookbook that contains recommendations and guidelines, as mentioned a bit earlier, and a repository of wheat-related linked vocabularies that are also accessible via the bioportal. So I think these are all resources that you can directly access. So I think this is the part from me at this point. I think I would also like to hand over to Esther, who has spent a lot of time on preparing all of this. And Esther, please, can you join us?
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. Well, the rest of the webinar will be used to try to take you through the outputs of the working group and particularly through the recommendations. And after that, we will discuss why and how it could be interesting for you to adopt these guidelines. Well, we have three outputs. The main one is a website with the guidelines on data formats, data description best practices, data sharing best practices, and you will also find there some information about useful tools and a description of some use cases that highlight data formats and vocabulary issues. I will go through this website in detail to show you what the recommendations consist in. And a second output is a repository of wheat-related ontologies, which is part of the Agroportal tool. Agroportal is a repository of agronomic-related ontologies, which is developed at Lyon. It's a laboratory of research in France. This repository allows you to search for ontologies and terms and concepts within these, the ontologies, and also to access to all these terms and concepts through APIs. And the last output of the working group is an implementation of use cases within the AgroLD tool. And this is to kind of showcase the interest of integrating data and We will see an example later in the presentation to highlight the importance of sticking to a common set of standards. Well, now we will have a look at the guidelines, and I will stop sharing the slides to go directly to the website. And you see my screen? Yeah? Okay. So the guidelines are available through, you can access to the website through the Wheat Data website, wheatdata.org. You have to click this menu, Data Standards, and it will take you to the guidelines website. Here we have many things. The first is this menu under which you will find a submenu for each of the data types we targeted. If, for example, we click on the first one, which is about sequence variations, we will go to the page with the recommendations about this data type. And how it is structured, we have first an introduction, and then we have a recommendation section in which we have first a summary of the main recommendations. Then for each of the recommendations you have an explanation that gives you more context and rationale. And depending on the data types, you may have some additional sections about, for example, tools and examples. These tools and examples are meant to help you scope with the recommendations that are in this page. And you can leave a comment to let us know if you have more information or you find something that needs to be corrected, and then we'll be able to update the recommendations according to the feedback we have. Let us see another example. For example, the phenotypes. We have the same structure, an introduction, and a summary of the recommendations. Then a description of each of the recommendations, a section about tools, a section about things that are interesting to be followed up in the future. And as you can see here, for example, we have already some comments on this section. So I invite you to take the time after the webinar to look at each of these recommendations and to give us your feedback if you have any feedback. We have also this section on vocabularies and ontology. It gives you some information about what it is, why it is important, what benefits you can have using these vocabularies, and for what. And also you have the list of the most used and relevant vocabularies in the context of the Wheat Initiative today. The use case section gives us some use cases that highlight some interoperability issues. And some of these use cases are already implemented in some tools like AgroLD, and I will show this later. Well, if you want to contribute to the work, you will have more information in the Getting Involved section. You have many ways to help. For example, you can adopt the guidelines. I will explain later what it means to adopt the guidelines. You can give us your feedback as I show it in the guidelines section. And you can also join the maintenance group in order to revise the guidelines in the future. In the About section, you have some information about some background information about the working group and also about the work we have done. Okay, I will go back to the slide. So, why should you consider adopting these guidelines? What are the benefits you could expect from adopting the guidelines? I think we can think about three main target users. The first are data producers and managers. If you are a data producer or a data manager, adopting the guidelines will help you easily conform to the well-recognized data repositories requirements, and it will facilitate the deposit of your data within these repositories. The recommendations that are linked to this are the recommendations on data formats. If you adopt the recommendations about the vocabulary, that should help you share more meanings, more common meanings with the rest of the Wheat research community, and also make your data more machine readable and computable. And adopting the guidelines should also help a data producer to contribute to foster the development of tools and information systems based on big data that make your data more visible and also provide smarter services. Another target is the tool developers or information system developers. Basing your tool or information system on the recommendations will help you to more easily integrate data from various data sources and propose more added value services. And it should also help you target a wider audience at the end. And the last target of the recommendations is the community of ontology developers. If you develop some ontologies sharing your ontologies through the portal, the repository, will make them more visible to the community and more popular to the community. And also, when you develop an ontology, you can see the repository, the ontology repository has a tool that can help you to find existing concepts and terms that could be reused or linked to your own concepts and make your ontologies more visible and maybe in some cases make you save time. So I would like to illustrate all these benefits in a more concrete way. The first illustration is through the International Wheat Information System called Wheat IS. I will switch to my browser to show you this Wheat IS application. Again, this Wheat IS search tool is available through the wheatis.org website under the search menu. So the Wheat IS is an application that gives you single access to available wheat data, resources, and bioinformatics. Currently, there are 6 nodes of data sources that are integrated in the Wheat IS, but there is some work in progress to include more data sources. I will just click on this. What is the link with the recommendations? The link is that if you can make your data available following the data format standards we are recommending, and if you can use the vocabularies we are recommending to annotate your data or to represent your data, and if you can use the metadata standards we are recommending to describe your data, this will make it's easier for the Wheat Information System to include your data in its nodes and to make them available and to link them to other data that are also included in the Wheat Information System. So this is a great project, and that will be a success if we have more data that complies to the standards that are recommended. Okay, I go back to the slide. Okay, this is also an illustration of the interest of using common standards. Let's say, for example, we want to be able to search for stem rust resistant germplasm and genes that are associated with it. We we will surely need something like a query tool that is able to integrate with genotyping data and with phenotyping data. And this data might be located in different repositories, and they might also be in different formats. The phenotyping data might be described with metadata, different metadata, and have traits and variables, names that use different vocabularies, and also agronomic, GIS, climate variables, locations that use different vocabularies. In the other end, genotyping data might be annotated with different, using different vocabularies, and all this situation makes it difficult for a tool to integrate this data. So the interest of the recommendations is to push forward some standards. For example, here, MyRP for the metadata that can be used to describe phenotyping data, crop ontology, Planteum to describe the traits and the variables, Invo to describe the climate variables, the locations, etc. And, for example, gene ontology to annotate the genotyping data, and ISATAB to as a data format for phenotyping data. And relying on these recommendations, both from the side of the tool and from the side of the data producers and managers, will make it easy for the tool to integrate data from many various sources and provide a meaningful and added value services. I will now show you two other tools that also allow you to query integrated information, integrated wheat-related information. The first one is the QTL NetMiner, which is developed at the Rothamsted Research. And the second one is the AgroLD tool, which is developed at ERD in France. So let me switch again. Okay. So the first tool is QTL NetMiner. What is QTL NetMiner? It is a web application also that allows you to query information that comes from many data sources, and to show candidate genes for a given set of terms that are related to biological traits. Here, for example, I can restart my query. If I search for drought tolerance, you can see that we have the number of documents and genes that are related to my search that are updated as I am entering the terms. We have a query suggestor that is based on some vocabulary we are recommending, and that can give you a way to refine your query in order to have more accurate results. For example, you can change your terms and replace them with more specific set of terms. Drought tolerance, we can, for example, change it for drought resistance. You can also add some alternative synonyms. For example, I don't know, let's put drought sensitivity, and you can exclude some terms, etc. Another feature of this tool is that you can define a QTL region within which you will limit your search, and you can also give a list of gene names and see if they are related to your keywords. Well, you have 4 views: the map view, the gene view, the evidence view, and the network view. I will not go in deep to all these views, but just have a look at this gene view. We have the list of the genes that are relevant to the query and the location, and you have a list of evidence that support the list of information that support this evidence. So, and you can see that these information are of different types. You have publication, reaction, enzyme, SNP, pathways, etc., etc. You can select one or more genes to see how they are related to the evidence that are linked to them. Okay. Never mind. The second tool is AgroLD. Here we have also a tool that is based on a network of data sources, and the tool allows us to search for relationships between different concepts. Here, for example, let's say that we want to see the relation between root development and triticum. Triticum isolum. We can add another concept. Triticum uratum. The tool will find the relationships between all these concepts based on all the data sources it integrates. So, okay, let us switch to the slide. Okay, all these, what we can learn from all these tools is that the more the wheat research community will harmonize its practices in terms of data management, the more information systems and tools like Wheat.is and Qt and NetMiner and AgroLD will be able to integrate more data and provide valuable knowledge. Now that I hope you agree with me that it's important to adopt the guidelines and to go towards a common set of standards. Let's see how you can do it. The first set of guidelines are about data format. So the simple way to adopt the guidelines is to provide your data or to make your data available under these recommended formats. Given that you may want to keep your data in other formats that are not recommended, it's not a problem, but what we recommend is to also make your data available in at least one of the recommended data formats. And for your future developments to consider these recommendations from the beginning. Another way to adopt the guidelines is to use the metadata standards in order to describe your data, and to use the recommended vocabularies to annotate your data. So we have the list of the most used and accurate vocabularies in the website. Catherine, can you bring forward the question? So what I would like to ask you is to answer these two questions. Which of the following vocabularies are you familiar with, and which of the following vocabularies are you already using? So, and to make it easier for the wheat community to build interesting tools, we recommend you to deposit your data in the Wheat.is data repository. The link is right here, or in well-established data repositories. As you can, if you go to the Wheat.is website where I took you before, you will see the list of nodes, and you will notice that the main well-established repositories are considered as nodes of the Wheat.is, and depositing your data there will make them more usable to build the tools and the information system. Okay. So we also encourage you to share your ontologies if you have some ontologies. We encourage you to share them through the repository, and to make some links between the concepts you are using and the ones that are available in the repository. That will make it easier to talk about the same thing. and to use the same vocabulary to talk about the same things, and it will make it easier for the community to develop more intelligent tools. Okay, many laboratories have already endorsed or adopted guidelines. You can find this link in the website also. And yeah, that's the end. I would like to acknowledge and thank very much all the working group members, and also Elenuka from Wheat Initiative, Adi Kennedy from the Wheat IS Expert Working Group, and Chris Rollins from Rotan State Research for the involvement and the work, hard work, and the expertise, and yeah. And thank you to you all who are here today. Now you have the floor for some questions.